audience. I think that Los Angeles, I mean, this is a total non sequitur, but this will be a very quick, and then we'll get back to, the heady stuff. I think Los Angeles is the greatest city in the world. I don't know if you're going to agree with me, but I have reasons. What do you think about that?
For me, it's I haven't been to every city in the world, but it's a city I have a lot of affection for. It's kind of just like good for me. It's a sanctuary.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't been to every city in the world either, but when you come into, I can walk into the Bicycle Casino right now, or the Commerce, or whatever, but the Bicycle in general, best casino. And I can be singing, if you continue to burn down the herb, they're going to burn down the cane field. And 3 Jamaican guys will be in there. I can be singing Sweet Home Alabama. 3 Hicks will say hi. There's no type of person that you can't meet and chill with in fucking Los Angeles. I just think Los Angeles is the biggest melting pot of different cultures who have retained their cultural sensibility of any place I've ever been. I mean, that's my personal opinion.
I love LA probably as much as you, or just what, especially what it gave me. Coming from New York, it gave me a lot more freedom and perspective on being able to relax. And I think LA gets a totally incorrect rap, or just a misconception that people in LA are flaky or used to be superficial, or that we don't want to work. It's just no, we fucking figured out how to get work done at a lunch meeting at 11 with our flip-flops on,
right?
Or just there's so many things that just I really think people are straightforward with you here. It's just
I do too.
Perceived as phoniness is actually the lack of player haterism. It's I believe this is a place where people sort of support each other's dreams and are interested in each other's businesses. And everyone's okay, so since I come from New York, everyone's well, New Yorkers, you always know where you're standing at. So no, all you really know when you're talking to another New Yorker is that they're angry as fuck. and that's what they mean by they know where you're standing at. The fact that they're happy to tell you fuck you.
Right.
The fuck you, get out of my face has a lot of value in New York, because it's you're dealing with 300 people on the fucking subway. You're stacked on top of each other in buildings. LA is a lateral society.
Right.
No one, your neighbor is his business, and that's it. And let's get together for a lunch meeting. Feel free to wear flip-flops.
I agree.
And in Hollywood, I love the entertainment industry. It's an industry town, and it's a poker town. And it's got some of those beautiful physical features going. I wasn't being perverse. I was saying the landscape, dude.
Absolutely. You got the beach and the mountains and the valleys and the hills and everything. I mean, you got everything here.
Yeah.
So speaking of good, let's talk about a shit city for a second. So Las Vegas, you recently went off on Las Vegas. What do you see happening in Las Vegas?
I see that this is strange and counterintuitive push or movement of a vibe towards unfriendliness and adversarialness, and really I see it. I'm not. This isn't some. Vegas is always going to be tough. In the summer, it's I remember, it's tough. The weather's tough. The elements,
no human belongs there. In reality, no human belongs there, right?
Yeah, right. And then it's also if you just get a little drunk or do something, especially let's go back to 2005 through 2007 when we're just getting on the scene. For me, this is when I got on the scene.
Right. And
just to have some cash in my pocket, or to win a 1K satellite or chop it with David Pham. It's you can lose yourself real easily, and you can play too much craps, you can fuck all kinds of shit up. And I accepted all that. I accepted that Vegas was the Terminator. It was gonna fucking, no man could, you had to face your own inner Terminator to survive Vegas, and the heat and the grind and everyone's sort of, angling for something. And in a way, I embraced that for many years, and because I guess we were having fun. You would sit down at a craps table or a blackjack. First of all, you'd see Sammy Farha at the blackjack table too.
Right.
Then that was a sort of cultural fixture, or whatever. And he's still in town, but it's or if you were at the craps table shooting, it was you could shoot the shit, have fun. And
right.
Now I just see what's happened. It's just this erosion based on sort of what I think is stodgy corporate thinking, and just it really has an authoritarian feel to me.
Well, I I tend to agree with you, but do you think it's just because we're old? And here's why I say that. But here's why I say that. If you talk to a real old fucker, you know, like a blue hair type, they're going to give you the same fucking story. They're going to say, well, in my day, I would come in, put a silver dollar into a slot machine, and 10 minutes later I'd be watching the Rat Pack and eating $1.99 steak and eggs. And they're going to tell you that the Vegas that we remember fondly was a piece of shit.
Oh, that doesn't matter. That anytime you get somewhere cooler where you're like, oh, yeah, I went to this cool place. Someone's like, oh, yeah, I was there 20 years ago. It was much, much cooler then. That doesn't matter. I'm not nostalgic for a time I didn't experience. I'm objectively comparing the range of my experience. And, you know, Vegas had perfected accommodation and service culture throughout some of my time there. And really what I like about the poker world, what I've learned from the poker world and what I don't mind having learned from Vegas is, like, money is kind of imaginary. And sometimes...
Until you need to buy something.
Until what?
Until you need to buy something.
Until you owe the IRS a bunch of it.
Right.
But in the meantime, it's like I might buy like a sweater that's too expensive, and it's a ridiculous purchase on paper, but I still own it, 10 years later. Or like I learned from poker players, like you're going to get ripped. Like I learned from one poker player in particular, I remember Jonathan Clems, like you're going to get ripped off times in your life, whether it's an insurance company or this or that, and you just have to learn to face. It's like that's accept that. It's a write-off. Like other people in the world, they're very hung up on like whether they lost $20 here or got ripped off for this or that. And it's like poker, you just fucking learn. And so that thread of romanticism about poker and disregard for money, that runs back to the old timers. Like
right.
The old classic thing was like Puggy Pearson or whomever. Like,
don't say Puggy. That guy scammed me more than once. I don't like that fucker.
Whoever. I don't even think I'm citing an example, I think, from the biggest game in town. I don't remember which gambler it was, but it was like they didn't realize their water bill was $200 extra a week or something that any normal person would notice. And I really appreciate that, what I learned from poker in Vegas. And like you have to fucking discipline yourself if you want to be a professional and survive Vegas and not turn a 1K chip into a flag, into a cranberry, into destruction.
But here, let me get back on the Vegas thing, and I'll give you a short take, and then you can tell me what you think of it. I feel like the problem with Vegas is it got away from a gambling culture sometime around 5 or 6 years ago. The culture of the city flipped from being a gambling culture to a restaurant entertainment sort of culture. Now, I
like that. Wait, but I like that part of it.
Well, no, but you don't, because now you're seeing the repercussions. The repercussions of that. Here's the repercussions of that. Here's the repercussions. The repercussions are when it was a gambling culture, just like you said earlier, Shane. I could show up, and you put this in your article. You had a very well-written article. I could show up at any fucking club in flip-flops, and they didn't fucking know if I was a prince or a schlub. It was a gambling culture, and they had to deal with me because if I called the VIP host and they were wrong, they're fucking fired. But now they're not fired. The reason they're not fired is because it doesn't matter as much how much I lose in the pits anymore or gamble in the pits. I've never lost in the pits. They feel that these club hosts and these restaurants have gotten the idea that the gamblers don't matter, and I think that's what's fucking up Las Vegas. What say you?
I think there was a time when the two cultures coexisted well, and it was really good, actually, because like the gambling culture was fine, I think, for a while in Vegas. Through its characteristic reinvention of itself, they brought these great chefs and these great entertainers in, and it's a good thing when you bring Bobby Flay and Mario Batali and whoever, Jose Andres into your town and create that level of service. And it's cool, and the Caesar shops are cool. They, or whatever. Like they define their own market for high-end shopping, and what a better place to do it than Vegas.
Right.
What's happened? I just think it's different and unrelated, and it's like, okay, I don't know. It's weird to me. I don't know how to describe it, but it sort of starts and ends at the club. You go to the club and it's just like you are being handled. It's like there's no Irie vibe. And then I literally was like, I was literally playing craps, you know, and then like started putting action on the line, and they were like the croupiers were just shocked. It's like it's you know that shouldn't, and it's because like everyone else at the table is like gambling like little $50 amounts and clapping, and like doesn't know that there's a tradition of gambling maybe for the staff, and that can create fun.
Right.
And you know, and it's just like, and it's because fucking everywhere you go, people are adversarial to you. It's really weird, and I assume that just comes from sort of corporate culture and just like everyone's like bottom line. You can't even get like I know high rollers who can't get comps in any kind of like I don't know non-structured way. It's like it's all like buy the number, fucking buy what you know. It used to be just like
no, you're right.
You had a relationship with your host.
Yeah.